Nothing can stop my progress. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Okay. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Move all you mountains that stand in my way, nothing can stop my progress. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. Tall trees fall aside, every bramble I slash with the sword of freedom. This next chant is one of Yogananda's chants. Just trying to get my microphone set here. When thy song flows through me. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me. And joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. Then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me. Then health is sweet and sickness a dream. Then health is sweet, sickness a dream. When thy song flows through me, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then health is sweet, sickness a dream, then health is sweet, sickness a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then praise is sweet, and I'm a dream, then praise is sweet, and blame a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me. Oh, life is sweet, and death a dream. Oh, life is sweet, and death a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then joy is sweet, and sorrow a dream, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then health is sweet, sickness a dream, then health is sweet, sickness a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then praise is sweet, and blame a dream, then praise is sweet, and blame a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me. Oh, life is sweet, and death a dream. Oh, life is sweet, and death a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then health is sweet, sickness a dream, then health is sweet, sickness a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then praise is sweet, and blame a dream, then praise is sweet, and blame a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, when thy song flows through me,
Let's take that beautiful truth into meditation. Life is sweet when thy song flows through me, my Lord. Just feel that truth in your heart. Just breathing in divine love. Allow the awakened love of your heart to move up to the point between the eyebrows. And keep your awareness there as though gazing out towards infinity. If you feel to, you can practice the mantra Hong Sa. I am spirit. I am. We'll meditate for 5 minutes.
Remaining inward, please listen to this week's affirmations for self-healing by Swami Kriyananda. Alertness. There are two currents in life. One takes us downward towards unconsciousness, the other upward toward cosmic consciousness. The first is an impulse born of a sense of past familiarity. Life, like a lotus, evolves out of the mud of lower consciousness toward the light of divine awareness. Subconsciously, we imagine ourselves comfortable with the stages we've traversed so far, but we are not always so ready for the adventure of further growth. The second current in life is the soul's impulse. We cannot find happiness in turning back toward the mud. Fulfillment lies only in reaching up toward perfect divine awareness. To achieve it, we must be alert in everything we do, for in the flow of increasing wakefulness lies the joy we are all seeking. And the affirmation, I am awake, energetic, enthusiastic. I give my full alert attention to everything I do, knowing that in absolute consciousness, I shall find God. So repeating after me in a loud voice to engage the conscious mind, I am awake,
I am awake,
energetic,
energetic,
and enthusiastic.
and enthusiastic.
I give my full alert attention to everything I do,
I give my full alert attention to everything I do,
knowing that in absolute consciousness,
knowing that in absolute consciousness,
I shall find God.
I shall find God.
Now in a conversational tone, I am awake,
I am awake,
energetic,
energetic,
and enthusiastic.
enthusiastic.
I give my full alert attention
I give my full alert attention
to everything I do,
to everything I do,
knowing that in absolute consciousness,
knowing that in absolute consciousness,
I shall find God.
I shall find God.
Now in a whisper, I am awake,
I am awake,
energetic,
energetic,
and enthusiastic.
and enthusiastic.
I give my full alert attention
I give my full alert attention
to everything I do,
to everything I do,
knowing that in absolute consciousness,
knowing that in absolute consciousness,
I shall find God.
I shall find God.
Now taking it inward to the subconscious, closing the eyes, I am awake, energetic, silently, and enthusiastic. I give my full alert attention to everything I do, knowing that in absolute consciousness, I shall find God. And one more time, bringing the attention to the spiritual eye, bring it to the superconscious state. I am awake, energetic, enthusiastic. I give my full alert attention to everything I do, knowing that in absolute consciousness, I shall find God. In the prayer, let me pray always with alert, awake attention to thy listening presence, knowing that thou dost hear the merest whisper of my thoughts.
And then we'll have our reading.
Reading from the rays of the One Light. This week's reading is How Should We Meet Our Tests? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. Last week, we considered Satan's temptation of Jesus in the wilderness after his baptism by John. We discussed the question, does Satan exist? All of us experience temptation of one kind or another in our lives. Some of us frequently, others only occasionally. Whether temptation comes to us from our own subconscious or from outside ourselves is secondary to the fact that it does come, and that we must deal with it. More important, then, is the question how to deal with it. In fact, how to deal with tests of any kind. Martin Luther flung an inkpot at the devil, who had appeared to test him. A dark stain on the wall of Luther's cell is pointed out to tourists in support of this story. Unfortunately, our trials are not often so summarily dismissed. As a fellow monk once said to Swami Kriyananda, speaking of Satan, if only I could get my hands on him. Jesus, during his temptations in the wilderness, overcame them and thereby set an example for all time by clinging the more determinedly to God. As Paramhansa Yogananda used to say, darkness cannot be driven out of a room with a stick. Once you turn on the light, however, The darkness will vanish as though it had never been. Jesus manifested this principle. The Bible tells us, therefore, that at last the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. In the Bhagavad Gita, the point is clarified further by the added explanation that there are three qualities in human nature: sattvic, or spiritually elevating; rajasic, or ego activating; and tamasic, or spiritually darkening. It is this triune aspect of human nature that the third chapter refers to with the words, "As fire is hidden by smoke, as a mirror is dulled by rust, and as an embryo is enclosed in the womb, so is the indwelling self enveloped by desire." Yogananda explained that each of these examples describes one of the qualities or gunas. Sattva guna, that which elevates our consciousness, can be freed of any identity with ego by a little puff of meditation and right affirmation. Rajoguna, which embroils the ego in restless activity, can be worked off with a little more and a little longer effort. Tamoguna, embracing as it does such mental states as laziness and stupidity, can only be outgrown in time, since it inhibits even the desire for self-improvement. The example Jesus gave us was intended more for those in whom sattva guna is predominant. But if you yourself find elements in your consciousness that resist even the effort to cling to God in prayer and meditation, don't despair. Patience, as it has been well said, is the fastest path to God. As long as your efforts take you steadfastly in the right direction, you will come out right in time. Remember Yogananda's words, a saint is a sinner who never gave up. If, however, your nature impels you, even against your will, to move in the wrong direction, toward egoic desires and away from God, strive at least to detach yourself mentally from your wrong actions, which are induced by habit. The time will come when their own stored up energy will tire and diminish. At that time, you will have not contributed to that energy by your consenting will, and you will find it possible at last to redirect your energies more constructively. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
Good morning, everyone. Start out with a beautiful reading from Whispers from Eternity. Number 117, prayer demand for illumination. O Spirit, beloved Father, Oversoul of the universe, Spirit of spirits, friend of friends, teach me the mystery of my existence. Teach me to worship thee in breathlessness and in deathlessness. In the fire of devotion, burn away my ignorance. In the stillness of my soul, come, Spirit, come. Possess me and teach me to feel thy immortal presence in and around me. Come, Spirit, come. Come, Spirit, come. So today we're talking about how to meet our tests. And it's funny, after Shannon read the affirmation about alertness, I am energetic, enthusiastic. I almost got up thinking I forgot about the reading. So it made me feel so enthusiastic. And that's how we need to meet our tests. But of course, when hard tests come to us in life, it's really difficult to understand why. It's not until hindsight many times that we can see that all of our tests are a blessing from God. They're a gift from God for our spiritual development and transformation. There's all kinds of tests. There's physical tests where we have illness and injury. There's emotional, great emotional test of grief, deaths of loved ones, or divorce, separation, fractures of friendship that leave us feeling very sad and confused. There's also great financial material tests that we go through, either feeling that we don't have enough or fearing that we'll lose what we have. There's also big tests of faith, so questioning whether God is actually with us. There's also tests of our willpower, and that's what we're talking about today as one of the great tests. Temptation, desire, even habits and addiction, things that just bring us away from God. And it's really the test of our own willpower that most people find difficult to conquer. And that's the time more than ever that we have to put our faith in God, that we have to attune our consciousness, align our consciousness with that great holy vibration so that we can overcome tests of will. And sometimes these tests can come all at the same time. How many of you have had a time in your life where it was smooth sailing? You have, Kelly? Excellent. Where there was not one test in your life, nothing emotional. Brief, okay, excellent. So sometimes we do have little brief times where there's no test in life. Everything seems to be running smoothly, and then something uninvited comes along. But there's other times in our life where everything comes crashing down at once. It's like the rug is pulled out from under us. And those are the times that we grow the most. I had a time in my life in my early 20s where everything was I was in deep grief, deep physical challenges and illness. I didn't have any money. I had lost my faith in God. I was struggling with bad habits. And it was during that time I was so angry at God that I called out, I want to pray to you, but I don't know what to say because I'm so angry. And I heard a voice say, just say, I love you. And that was a turning point in my life spiritually, because I just kept saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. And in the midst of all that darkness, I felt great joy. And all these years later, when I look back at that, I can see what that time in my life did for my spiritual transformation. I put my faith in God. But sometimes it's hard to do that, we all know. And Jesus showed us today in this reading, his time in the wilderness, how to meet all of those tests. You know, he went into the wilderness, and by clinging to God, he was able to expel the consciousness of Satan that was surrounding him. He stayed in a perfect state of attunement, which is what we're being called to do daily in our lives. And when he was physically hungry and the devil said to him, turn those rocks into bread, he chose the spiritual food of God, because God is our nourishment. God is our lifeline. He chose to go into the Om vibration, the light of God. That's the true food of God, the true food of spirit. Yogananda said that God's love is the real bread of life. About how beautiful that is, that God's love nourishes us. And when he was tempted to prove that God would catch him if he threw himself off the top of the temple, he didn't fall for that. He didn't have to test his God. And he replied, do not put your Lord God to the test. And that was a test of faith, that when we go through really dark, difficult times, it is easy sometimes to think that God isn't with us. We're all familiar with that beautiful poem, The Footsteps of God, where someone has a vision of their life and they see two sets of footprints in the sand with themselves and God. And they notice that during their most difficult times, there's only one set of footprints. And they say to God, how could you leave me? How could you abandon me in those times? And God says, that's when I carried you. And it's hard to remember that, but in our darkest hours, God does carry us. Divine Mother carries us like an infant in her arms. And we just have to tune into that love and that vibration of support. Tests make us contractive. You know, when we go through difficult times in our life, we get very contractive, but God's love is expansive. And the more we tune into that love, the more expanded our awareness can be. It can help us to realize that everything in life is temporary. Everything, even the good things. Kelly's good times were temporary, but everything is temporary, and that's a good thing to remember. And lastly, when Satan offered Jesus the whole kingdom, all the kingdoms of the world, Jesus replied, worship the Lord God and serve him only, because the truth is there's nothing that can compare to the inner kingdom that we have access to every day by tuning in, keeping in attunement to God's love. And so these are just some examples that Jesus gave us, ways to meet our worldly test. And the most important thing is to stay in that vibration of God consciousness at all times. And there's 3 ways that we can do that. And they're all related to each other. It's like a symbiotic relationship. The first is to live in the present moment. And it's hard to do that when you're going through a difficult test, because you think about what you're losing, or you think about what the future is going to be like. Today's affirmation, alertness. Alertness is a form of hyper awareness, and we have to stay aware of where our mind is taking us. And it's a practice, a spiritual practice, to be in the present moment. And the second, which is related, is don't give in to fear. Because if we're not in the present moment, we give into fear, don't we? Sometimes we're afraid of what's coming, the unknown. And the last, of course, the most important, which guides all of it, is stay in attunement to God's ray. And once you're in attunement to God's ray, it takes care of the others. So going back to living in the present moment, when tests come our way, it's human nature to start thinking about what's going to happen next, or where am I going to end up? Am I going to have enough? And you know, that's what stress is in life. Stress is the space between the reality of our life and what we want it to be. So if we can just live in the present moment, in the reality, and breathe into that process, it can help us move step by step into the next part of our life. Because many times the darkest times give light to the most beautiful times in our life. If you look back at the arc of your life, many times it was after a very difficult test that something beautiful came to you in a spiritual lesson, or even in material ways in life. You never know. We have an affirmation in Ananda Yoga. I rise above all thoughts of past and future into the eternal now. And there's such a lesson in that, to stay in the eternal now, because that's all that's real. The past is gone. It doesn't exist. The future hasn't happened. That's not real. Just this moment is real. And even when we're in deep grief, or when we're in the midst of a willpower issue, if we just stop and take a deep breath and feel ourselves anchored and rooted in this moment, it can help us just step by step to overcome. The second is don't give in to fear. That's a huge one. Stay in the vibration of divine love. And the more that we tune into God's ray, and we invite the expansive consciousness of divine love into our heart, there's no room for fear. In today's reading, Yogananda said you can't beat darkness with a stick, but if you light a match in a dark room, it illuminates that darkness. And it's the same in our hearts. As soon as we invite divine love into our hearts, into our life, we have this great illumination of love, and then fear vanishes. Yogananda said, be afraid of nothing, hating none, giving love to all, feeling the love of God, seeing his presence in everyone, and having but one desire, for his constant presence in the temple of your consciousness. That is the way to live in this world. What a beautiful line, to feel his constant presence in the temple of our consciousness. That's the way to live. The last, of course, most important foundation of everything we do here is staying in attunement to God, to the gurus, to really find that time every day to tune in constantly. Really, we have our meditation twice a day, but it's that time in between that we have to really stay in attunement. That's the time that we can start going into fear, or start moving back, sliding back into negative habits, that type of thing, but just staying in attunement Swami Kriyananda said the temptation of evil is born of mental habits and of ignorance, which cause us to imagine our highest good lies elsewhere than in God alone. Each day, we are faced with situations and circumstances where we get to choose whether we will join hands with God to overcome our human weaknesses or whether we will give into delusion, temptation, evil, bad habits, which take us away from God and further into darkness. So that's a powerful thought, that we get to choose whether we take the hand of God every day. And so that's another practice, that you can literally come into your breath, come into your anchor, into your body, and imagine that you're reaching out and God's taking your hand, especially in the dark moments, especially, again, if we're talking about temptation or habit, as today's reading is about. If you have that moment where you get to choose between going down a path you don't want to go or taking God's hand, step into the breath and take God's hand, be in the present moment. It's so powerful. And today we talked about the sattvic quality. We all want to become more sattvic. So being embodied, being incarnated into a physical body is a rajasic quality. And there's nothing wrong with the rajasic quality, because it propels us. It gives us the desire to even meditate, to find God, all of those things. But once we have that desire, then we want to practice those desires, because the more we meditate, the more we chant, the more silence that we have in our life, the more time we spend in nature, the more sattvic our food, vegetarian diet. These things create sattva within ourselves. And when we're more sattvic, we're less likely to fall from grace. We're less likely to have temptation, especially the ones of willpower, because when we're in that sattvic quality, we're in God. It's the quality of light. It's the quality of expansion. It's the quality of love. And of course, meditation is the most powerful way to become sattvic. So by just meditating twice a day, we're already on our way to just becoming imbued with that beautiful vibration of peace and stillness, of God's light and love and peace. Yesterday, Kelly and I taught the first series of our discipleship class for this year. And it was so beautiful. All of the people in the class, including Kelly and I, we shared how Yogananda came into our life and how we ended up in this class on this day. And everyone's story was so beautiful and moving. And there was a common thread through all the stories. And that common thread was that every single person described feeling a little bit disillusioned with the world, that there was a longing for something more than what they were experiencing. And it was that longing that brought them to God. And that longing for God, it's a soul call. And when we have that soul call, God starts to send us teachers in the form of books and different practices. And all of us had described all the different things that we had gone through before we found the guru. And the guru comes when the disciple is ready. And it's such an incredible blessing for all of us. We're all disciples of Yogananda. If you're here today, if you're online today, you are a disciple of Yogananda to be here. And it's incredibly fortuitous. It's a divine blessing. As Yogananda said, it takes very, 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 very good karma to attract the grace of a guru. And once you have that, it's the most incredible gift. Don't give it away. You know, stay in attunement with the guru. Stay in that vibration of God's light and love. And it's through that that we will meet our test. And one thing about having a guru that's a little bit under-advertised is that the guru mitigates our karma. So even though we face, the karma doesn't go away. We all have great tests to face, great karmic tests from previous incarnations. But the guru mitigates it to the point that we can handle it. The guru takes some of it for us. And the guru also prepares us for that karma to come to us and loves us through it and holds our hand through it and guides us through it. It's a beautiful thing. More importantly, or most importantly, is that we stay in attunement to the vibration that God sent to us individually in the form of the guru. And that could be Yogananda, it could be Jesus, it could be Buddha, it could be any of the great saints, but God does come to us when our soul calls out and sends us the exact way for God to relate to us individually, so that we can meet our test. So again, all of these create a symbiotic relationship. We want to stay in the present moment. We want to stay in love, away from fear. And we want to stay in the divine attunement, the attunement and grace of God and Guru. And if we do that every day, we'll meet our tests with grace, with grit, and of course, with the love of God, which is most important. Thank you.
Please take what you would like to give, place it in your right hand, and repeat after me. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
we offer to thee
we offer to thee
the fruit of our labors.
the fruit of our labors.
Bless this offering,
Bless this offering,
that it serve as a channel
that it serve as a channel
of thy light
of thy light
to truth-seeking souls everywhere.
to truth-seeking souls everywhere. Om, peace. Amen.
Please join me on the chorus of this beautiful song. The words are Yogananda's. It's put to music by Maitri from Ananda village when she was a high school student in the 70s. Temple of unceasing prayer, believe that he's approaching there, and call to him, keep calling him. Thou dost know I'm praying, Lord, you know I love no I'll speak not, nor ask when to expect from you an answer. You know my heart. I'll call to thee again. Keep calling him. Keep calling him, whether he replies or not, keep calling him. I'll wash thy feet of silence with the waters of my tears. The altar of my soul will be empty till thou comest. I'll wait for thee, no matter days or years. Keep calling him, keep calling him, whether he replies or not, keep calling him. In the center of my heart, I have a mystic throne for thee. The candles of my joys are dimly burning now in hope, awaiting thy coming.